Hello, hi, folks. Welcome. Happy Tuesday. In hopes that you squeezed more out of your day than the day squeezed out of you. I am Sean Azimi with SideGigSean.com, where I help you look, start, and grow your side business. Welcome. Good to see you. Jenny, hey, how are you? Welcome. Glad you made it. You're gonna like this subject since you requested it. I have a big announcement actually. Huge announcement. I have a huge announcement to make. Well, actually, two huge announcements. Hello, salam. Actually, two announcements. One is that obviously the show. Yes, you did, and you're gonna know why. The show. In the white seat with Dr. Netta. Don't forget that is this Thursday. Loads up at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Man, we have a surgeon, a very young plastic surgeon that is making moves. This guy, he dropped a concept in this interview that I have never heard of. And I even texted them. I said, I'm stealing this one. I'm going to do a live on this. But I've never heard of this concept. And it was very, very interesting. And so he's a Turkish, very, very successful plastic surgeon. And he does like miracles, like cancer patients and accidents and deformations and things of that sort. And so the interview is very interesting this Thursday. YouTube channel in the white seat with Dr. Netta, and that's 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. The second announcement, I have a huge announcement. I used to have let's call it a show that I used to call it Thursdays with Sean, and I would bring a guest and I interview them. In fact, I've done a few of those. And I stopped. The truth is, I really stopped looking for guests. That's really the truth, honestly. If I really want to be transparent, I stopped looking for guests. So I'm starting that again, but this time I am coming with a bang. Like this Thursdays with Sean, I already have 3 lined up. And the first Thursday with Sean is going to be this Thursday. We're going to do it at a very special hour because of her timing. It's going to be at noon Pacific. That is 12 o'clock Pacific, 3 o'clock Eastern. And it's going to be this Thursday, same channel right here. And my guest is a multi-million-dollar, one of the top 100 most powerful women in network marketing, recognized by Eric Worre. The one that literally shook up the whole company we're in right now, broke every record within 45 days of joining. This woman is a superstar, and her name is Michelle Barnes. Some of you, if you're on my team, then you definitely know her. If you're not on the team, and if you're out in the world, you may have heard of her or have heard of her on stage, or she spoke this weekend. Not only she spoke, she actually was she spoke and she was a guest panel on Ray Higdon's event, Faith Over Fear, this weekend. So I cannot wait to, you guys, Michelle is the bomb. Michelle is the bomb. Like, Michelle is the real deal. Like, she's freaking amazing. You better get your notebooks and pens and be ready to listen, because she does talk fast and she goes fast, and she's given me some very precious, very precious of her time. So I'm very excited for this. Again, this Thursday, I'm gonna have the one, the only Michelle Barnes on Thursdays with Sean is back again this Thursday at 12 o'clock Pacific. Very special time. Thursdays, again, like I said, this is a multi-million-dollar earner. Grover, hey, what's going on? Michelle, hey, how are you? Wow, what's going on, folks? So I was saying, maybe some of you joined. I don't know when you guys joined, but I had this show called Thursdays with Sean. I'll go through it real quick. Thursdays with Sean, and I used to bring a guest and interview them. And I'm glad to say that we are back 3 p.m. Eastern. Yes, we are back this Thursday. I'm doing my first, I guess, reload of Thursdays with Sean, and I have a superstar. Like I have asked her several times to do this, but she's so busy. So I'm so honored to have her on. Her name is Michelle Barnes. She's a multi-million-dollar earner in the profession. So I don't want to spoil her story, but she will be here Thursday at noon Pacific time. All right, enough with the announcements. Let me get into this subject. Some of you are going to be shocked by what I'm about to say, because it's definitely against everything you've probably heard. I have had leaders that do trainings on what I'm about to talk about. Well, I guess what I'm about to talk about against, I guess. And I've been into those trainings before, and I wasn't really comfortable before, and I didn't really understand why. I just kind of didn't make any sense. But I'm here to share with you one of my concepts, one of my unique thoughts, if you would. And that's, everybody will tell you, don't compare yourself, right? Like, man, you just got into business. Don't compare yourself, your chapter 1 to somebody's chapter 29. Or don't compare yourself now because you're just a beginner. And, who has heard that? Maybe drop like me or some hearts or something, and let me know you're here. Comment, because if you don't comment, I don't know you're here. It's just weird with Facebook. But so you heard that before, right? Like, don't compare yourself. You'll get this, do this, do that. Well, you ready for this? I am here to tell you, you absolutely should compare yourself. In fact, if you don't compare yourself, you're not going to be successful. That's pretty bold, right? Wow, my gray hair is really showing in this light. I digress. So, nobody's told you that. I'm telling you that you should 100% compare yourself. And if you don't do it, you ain't going to win, like, ever. And I'm going to tell you why. Okay? Now, I didn't think I was going to bring this up, but you guys know, some of you know, I have a rhinoceros head on my desk. I talked about it in this interview that I did with Dr. Nanetta. She did an interview on me. I talked about the rhino head, and it's the rhino head is really precious to me because it's got a thick skin, right? I'm not going to get into the rhino, but it's got a thick skin. It doesn't move much. Like, it doesn't take much to move a rhino. You know what I mean? PK, what's up? So if you're going to get into a profession that or a job, business, job, profession that you get into, that there are other people who are like in the same field, in the same company, much more successful than you, and if that's your goal, then here's the rule number 1 to comparison. One is that you gotta toughen up. This ain't no child's game. This ain't no for kids, okay? You can't get in here if you're like, oh, I'm just so hurt. This person said no, and this person's doing better than me. If that's you, not a good thing. This is not a business for you. You should definitely not join as a distributor, as somebody who works the business, but you could, do the customer thing and enjoy the products. I would discourage you from joining a business because you're going to get butthurt real fast. You're going to go home crying to mommy and daddy, and you're going to go live in the mountains and live by yourself for the rest of your life, and then you're going to blame network marketing. So you probably just don't do it, okay? Just don't do it. Or accept that you're going to have to toughen up. You're going to have to toughen up. Now, if you toughen up, okay, if you accept that, if you embrace that this ain't no, I'm not going to be flipping hamburgers. This is a serious business. This is a tough business. It's not like you go stand at a grill and flip a burger. It's not that. Right? This is different. This is going to make you a man or a woman. You know what I mean? It's going to put some skin on you. So for you to not compare yourself, then that tells me right there that you don't want to be as successful. And that's totally okay. See, that's okay. If you get in, you're like, I just want to make a couple bucks and I don't really care about anything else. Okay. Yeah, you shouldn't compare yourself. You should just do your thing. But if you're willing to get to that point, if that's what you're going for, right? If you're getting into a profession, a business, a job, anything that you're looking at the top people and you're like, I want to do that. My name's John, yay. I want to get there. I want to do that. Then first, you got to toughen up. And two is that you got to compare yourself 100%. Absolutely, you have to compare yourself to the top. Now, here's what I will tell you. People compare themselves and then they shut down, right? Well, that's the unhealthy comparison. I'm here to tell you there's two types of comparison. And most likely, I would say 9.9999 out of 10 times, you're in that other side. You may not even know about this side, okay? So I kind of referred to this last night a little bit, and I made a mistake. I want to fix that mistake. So most people compare themselves with other people, and then last night I said compare and cry, but the correct wording is compare and complain. My thought was somewhere else. So most people compare and complain. What does that mean? It's like, that person is making all the money, or I'm not making all the money, and then they start nagging about everything in life, right? Oh my God, that person has this, I don't have this. That person, right? So you compare your first chapter to the 29th chapter of somebody else, and you start what? Nagging, complaining, blaming, just, excuse my French, throwing up on everybody, right? Just like going around telling, oh yeah, this person did this, right? So you compare and you complain and you complain and you complain. And why do people say don't compare yourself? Because you freaking complain all the time. That's why. If you would not complain, what would happen is this. I'll give you this example. I've shared this before. I've been in corporate world for a long time, right? And I've worked in companies where there've been 500, 600, 700, as high as 700 salespeople on the floor, not just employees, just like salespeople. It's pretty much a dog-eat-dog world. Like, you're there among wolves, not 700 of them. But out of 700, you got about 20 people that are just about to rip things apart, right? They're the real deal. So every time I've gone into a company of that kind, and some of you have actually worked in the last company I worked at, and you know that I did this because it was like a big thing. I came into the company and I asked the person who hired me, if you would. I said, "Who's the number one person in this company, on the sales floor?" And I've done this in every single company. And this one particular company, it's a loan company, and they brought this roster of names. They had a printout. This guy had a printout and said, "Well, here's the names. Here's 600 of them, And then I looked at number one, and it was initials JK. I'm not gonna name the name. We're still actually friends. I crossed his name. I didn't know anybody in the company. I had not even was hired yet. I crossed his name and I wrote my name right next to him. I looked at the guy and I said, "Tell him I'm coming for him." And that sentence got me the job. Now, why do I tell you that? This is a healthy competition, right? If you're competing to boast, that's not healthy, right? If you're competing to win and push yourself and push the other guy too, a lot of these professional competitors, they say to each other, if there's much respect, they say, "What? You made me train harder. You made me go harder." Somebody like John Melton, who enrolled another person today, that's his 10th in 1 month, right? Yeah. JK. It was actually, his name was JK. Somebody like John Melton recruited 122 people last year, being one of the top 100 people in the world, right? Why wouldn't I compare myself to that? Now, here's the thing. You can compare and complain, or you can compare and compete. See, that becomes a whole different ballgame. See, no. Yeah, no. If you compare and compete, then when you're starting at chapter 1 and you're comparing yourself with somebody's chapter 29, you recognize there's 28 chapters to cover to get to that point. You're not a complainer and saying, "Well, I'm here, he's there." Well, yeah, you just started. Where do you want to start? Like fly over there? Like, how are you going to do that? Like, you started today. You want to be there like tomorrow? That's not realistic. I'm going to say it, that's dumb. Don't like fool yourself with this stuff. Of course you got to compare yourself. Heck yeah. Compare and compete. Compare and understand what the heck did they do. Read their 28 chapters. 17, John, 22 years in the business, 17 years in the mortgage industry. Leaves his mortgage industry after 7 years of part-time in the profession. Okay? Why wouldn't I compare myself to him? I was in the mortgage industry for 18 years. Ray Higdon, been broke, bankrupt, foreclosed, divorced, on top of the world now. Why wouldn't I compare myself with him? Those stories hit. I relate. Of course I compare myself, and then I compete. I don't compare and sit here and complain to everybody, "Well, Ray Higdon is on top. John enrolled another one." You know why John enrolled another one? Because he probably spoke to another 100 people. So if I understand that, right, then I toughen up and I understand that it does take comparison to succeed, but not comparison to a point where you're sitting down crying and kumbayaing my Lord and complaining to the world, but comparing so that you change your steps, you change your activities, you change your surroundings, You change your surroundings according to what you see somebody ahead at the 29th chapter in this case, right? You don't sit here and say, well, they're there. Well, yeah, you're still here. You have to be able to, you don't, see, here's the thing. You can carve out all these excuses and reasons and like feed them out to the world, right? But ultimately, you won't be able to feed yourself. You know, when people ask me, I'm going to straight up I tell you this, and this is the recent thing that I've been using, and it's just straight up. When people say, well, how come you've been doing this for so long and this, that, the other thing, right? This is my straight up answer. Right now, I have more excuses than results. If you want to come back in a year, we can talk then, or you can join me. That's it. That's all I got to say. I got nothing else to say. Nothing. There's nothing else I got to say. Right now, I got more excuses than results. You can come back in a year, talk to me then, or you can join me. That's it. I have nothing else to say. And if they want to join, they join. If they don't, see ya. Next. I'm out. Right? I'm going to compare and compete because I want to compete, man. I want to get to the top. I want to be one of those guys. Why wouldn't I? Again, if that's your goal. If you're at a position where you're like, I just want to get some free products, make a couple $100, then you should compare yourself with that guy, with that girl, right? You compare yourself with somebody who's going to make a couple $100 and get free products and that. You shouldn't compare yourself with somebody who's making $700,000 a month. Why would you do that? Of course you're going to complain because it's not in your category. It's not in your line, right? So you compare yourself with where you want to go, and then you compete, meaning you fill those steps exactly the same, maybe even better. Maybe John talked to 10 people today, like Jim Rohn used to say, right? Maybe I get to talk to 50 people, 20 people, 30 people, right? So this whole concept of don't compare yourself, I'm just so against this concept. Like I cannot, it just like literally, it like, it literally is like, oh, please stop saying that. So I'm totally against that whole concept. Don't compare yourself unless you don't want to like, you know, we constantly compare ourselves with everybody. That's why you watch the commercials. That's why you buy the purses, you buy the clothes. That's why you buy the nutrition. That's why you go to that gym. That's why you go to that work. Of course you're comparing yourself. If you tell yourself I'm not, you're denying it. And I've said this before, denial is not just a river in Egypt, right? So you're constantly comparing yourself, judging people, this and that. You're doing it. If you're going to do it in a healthy way. Compete. Get to that level, right? Get to that point, get in that crowd, and you'll see a whole different world. Let's see. It's always being said to new people, don't compare. I watch the best and learn. I mean, you gotta. I don't understand how you wouldn't compare, unless again you compare and you complain. Like, you know, at a job they could come to you, and I've had this. Like I've had low production months. They come to you and they say, hey, you know, JK's killing it, bro. Like, why aren't you? Okay. And I could be like, well, you know, JK like lives here, like literally, right? I can't do that, right? So I could either complain or I could say, oh yeah, well, I'll show JK. It's either those two, right? I could either say, well, or I could say, oh yeah, well, let's see. It's either you compare yourself and you complain, or you compare yourself and compete. You gotta pick one of these two, and be okay with either one. You see, you can't just pick one and then nag about the other one. You know what I mean? You gotta toughen up. If you're gonna compete, you gotta know, man. It's going to get 28 like ugly chapters to get to 29th. It ain't going to be all like, oh yeah, you know. So you got to, if you're going to go with that route, then you got to really toughen up. So Hopefully you guys got some love, some inspiration, some value from this. Drop one takeaway down in the comments below. Let this feed grow. Again, the big, huge announcement, 2 announcements. Let me review real quick. The show in the white seat with Dr. Netta, that's the YouTube channel, we have this young superstar of a plastic surgeon that drops some serious knowledge, and he drops this concept that I've never heard of, and I told him I'm going to steal it. But so this Thursday I load that up on YouTube, and then Thursdays with Sean is back. I am coming with the bang, you guys. I have 4 actually, I forgot. I have 4 major guests lined up. We're gonna start with a bang this Thursday by my mentor. I can call her my friend, Michelle Barnes. This is a gal who's been recognized as one of the top 100 most powerful women in network marketing, multi 7-figure earner in the profession. She is no joke. So she's going to give me some of her time on Thursday at 12 o'clock, 12 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. And she told me I can surprise her with the questions. I told her, are you sure? She said yes. So, I'm about to bring it. So don't miss that. I'm telling you, it's going to be money. You may want to bring some tissues too. Her story is, it's amazing. Honestly, it's amazing. If you haven't heard her story, it's a good one. So this Thursday, does she have multiple streams of income? Yes, she's my upline. And she's been in the business for 22 years, 22 or 24 years. So she'll tell you the story. So yeah. And so with that, hopefully you guys got some love, some inspiration, some value from this. One takeaway. Come on now, drop it in the comments below. Let this feed grow. If you feel like this was worthy of sharing, do what you gotta do. Spread the love, tag a couple people, And with that, I am Sean Azimi with SideGigSean.com, where I help you look, start, and grow your side business. Signing off until tomorrow when we do it all over again. Much love.